sponsored by Lascko Services. We Michiganders, we wait a long time for the warm weather to turn up, and it has started to do that for us. And with that comes some important household tasks that must be accomplished in order to get the maximum enjoyment out of our summer months. Brett Lascko is joining us now with a to-do list. Hello.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you, Brett. And we are standing out here where the water enters or exits the home.
Exits the home and hooks up to your hoses.
This is important.
So we talk about in the fall about make sure before it freezes outside that you take the hoses off your outside faucets. I just want to go through the reason why real quick.
Yes.
So next fall, everybody puts a little bit more importance on that so it doesn't flood your home.
Yes.
So a typical outside faucet looks like this. They are made to not freeze when you take the hose off. So in the fall, you know, your hose is hooked up.
Yep.
You should always be taking that off. And when you take that off, water should drip out of this. That's a good thing, which allows it to drain. So a question that we get quite often is, hey, I take my hose off, or we run the water, take my hose off and it keeps dripping. There's something wrong. There actually isn't anything wrong. It's supposed to do that. It's draining itself so it doesn't freeze.
Nice.
And it's a little bit different style, but what's happening inside the house that you don't see is this is all inside. So this goes into the wall. And what happens is when you turn this handle, you think you're doing something right here, but it's actually turning the water off way inside the house here.
Oh.
So there's a lot going on here that you don't think about. And then that water that was just dripping when you turn the handle off is this
completing
pipe
its run.
draining all the way out. So the water's actually in the house where it's warm.
Yep.
Everything outside drains and doesn't freeze.
Very nice.
So that's the importance of doing this. Now, if you didn't take the hose off, you forgot, which most people do, I've done it myself.
Yeah.
Then that can, when you first use this in the spring, I would recommend hooking the hose up, turning it on, going in the house to where this location is to make sure you don't have any water dripping.
Okay.
Because what happens is this actually freezes back in the house and it'll split. So when the water's running, it's actually running inside your house.
Oh my goodness.
And
Okay,
sometimes you don't know till it's too late.
we are standing by a beautiful tree that is blooming, and that brings to mind roots. The blooms mean that tree is spreading its roots underground too, right?
Yes, yes. So when the trees are growing like this, they want to find water. Sewers that are leaking are good water, lots of nutrients for them. So it's something to think about is last year you had root problems or you had sewer backups and you didn't have anything all winter long. You think, you know, it's going along and you're safe. Yes. Well, now the trees are growing, you will start seeing things. So if you've had problems before, we or a professional can run a sewer camera down in and actually see what's going on and then give you options on how to repair that so you don't flood your house.
Okay, Brett, we have moved over to the air conditioning unit because there's a lot to pay attention to with this.
Correct. So the main thing for air conditioner is to make sure that it's clean, and bushes that might be around it, large tall grass, things like that, leaves.
Yeah, we try to hide it, aesthetically, and then that causes trouble for us, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
It wants to breathe, and we want to hide it.
Yeah,
so it doesn't work good. So some things to look at for air conditioners and dirt or things in the way is inside you can see a lot of leaves and debris in there.
Yep.
What that does is when it rains and you get water in there, the leaves stay wet and then it rusts out the bottom of the unit. So that's one thing to look at. To get that out of there, this whole top does have to come off, so it's not quite as easy to take care of that. The other thing is to make sure you got space around it.
Yep.
And on this side, actually, you can see all the dirt that's accumulated on the outside that has to be sprayed off and washed too.
Because that's inhibiting its breathing, right?
Right.
As you say, you know.
And another thing, this is an older unit, and something to think about or to see is this is insulation, which helps things be more efficient. This is on the refrigerant lines, and see how it's deteriorated and falling apart. That's something that should be looked at too. Okay,
that is your to-do list. If you need help accomplishing those tasks, contact the Lascko team. They're glad to help you. They are at lascoservices.com.
Thank you.